said, why did you put water on it? You know this, you've been in the service for 5 years, I think I remember. You know this is basic stuff. Oh, it's just panic, I panicked. I saw fire, I just panicked. No, of course, okay. Stages of fire. We covered this, different stages of a fire. Yeah, we'll quickly do it. I know it's the sleepy end of the day. Ignition phase. Okay, fire, oxygen, heat, as my mate just said before, join in a sustained chemical reaction. At this stage, a fire extinguisher can generally control the fire. This is kind of like the pyrolysis stage. All those flammable gases starting to be released. The initial ignition phase, or sometimes called the incipient stage of a fire. Pre-ignition, the incipient stage. Growth phase. This is where those gases from all the radiant heat starts to decompose all of the fuel, being wood, paper, plastics, and whatever else is in there, all start to give off these toxic gases, these flammable gases. And you saw how it was the flammable gas, it was the flame that just went near, didn't actually have to touch the product, just went near the product, and that flammable, the smoke. So products of smoke contain all these flammable gases. So the growth phase, and it becomes then fully developed. So this is where you have a saturation, all the gases in the room erupt and we have a saturation. Then a decay or a burnout phase. When all the products, the fuel is burned, there's no more fuel or very little fuel. In an enclosed space, there's all of the oxygen is taken up. Now in that case, if we have a fire that is fairly enclosed, all the oxygen is taken up, the fire will simmer down. Just like in an aircraft fuselage, I guess, or a building that has a fire inside it, and you can see all the windows are blank, you can't see inside. Generally in a house fire this happens, you can't see inside, and all of the oxygen's taken up, all the products of combustion, smoke has filled the room, and all it's waiting for is what? Oxygen. So it's a firefighter smashes a window, which generally smash anyway, or opens a door, and then we have a situation where we can have a backdraft. So what's a backdraft?
Explosion.
Absolutely it is. And when I was in the civil fire service very early in my career, I never saw a backdraft. We're always looking for signs of that. Actually, a quick story, I was in New Zealand a few weeks ago, and I was driving from a place called New Plymouth across to Hamilton. I had a meeting with the airport in New Plymouth, and then we had another meeting in Hamilton. It's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive. And en route, we're driving through the hills and these little tiny small country towns. And we're coming up the hill toward this town, and I see smoke coming from a house. I immediately thought it's just someone burning off, Actually, it was smoke coming through the roof. So I said to my business partner who was there, I said, we're going to pull over. So I pulled over, I ran back. As I'm running back, there's a car parked kind of near the driveway of the house, which would suggest that maybe someone's in there, right? I was in my suit, not quite a tie, but it was a suit jacket and all nice clothes. So now I'm trying to determine whether there's someone in there. So at this point it was just me, this other guy. I'm running around the house. I couldn't see in the windows, but there was a lot of smoke coming out of the eaves of the house. I couldn't see in the windows at all, running around the back of the house, and I'm bashing on the walls and yelling out, is anyone in there? I'm looking for a garden hose. There is none. There's nothing. I've got nothing. What do? At that point, can't see in the windows. The windows are black and soot around the outside sills of the windows. The paint on the outside of the house is starting to blister, and there's a lot of smoke coming out of the eaves, which would suggest to me that there's a lot of heat in there and a lot of thick black smoke in there as well. So I've got a choice to make. So of course the fire service, it's volunteer fire service over in those areas. Another older guy pulled up, so I said call, and the number over in New Zealand is 111. Call 111. He's a New Zealand guy. He said, oh, how do I do that? He passes me his phone. He doesn't know how to call 111. Right? I just like that. Okay, so he's away. I can hear the town siren going. It's a small town. It took 16 minutes for the fire services to arrive. Here I am thinking, and Kerry, my wife, was with me as well. She was in the car too. And she's yelling out, don't get too close, don't get too close. And I'm in a bit of a dilemma. All I could think of was there's somebody in there and they're laying on the ground. What would you do? Got nothing. I'm not going to put myself in danger. If I smash a window, it's going to vent the fire, and B, it might create a backdraft situation. Fortunately, a few minutes later, the lady who owned the house was just walking her 2 dogs, and she's come up to my wife, and she's bawling her eyes out, crying, all the rest of it. I actually said to her, I said, the fire service is going to arrive soon. You need to concentrate, you need to look at me. I said, is there anything in your house that they need to know about? Like any flammable products, like any fuels or anything? She didn't answer at first. I said, is there any petrol or gas in your house? And she said, yes, I've got 10 litres of petrol, of Zoom. Right? And I said, where's that, in the garage? And she said, no, it's in the family, in the living room. It's in the living room. The police rang me several weeks, this is probably 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. Police rang me several weeks after she's been charged with arson. She's been charged with burning her own house down. I wrote a statement, a big long statement, and there was certainly signs that I thought, this doesn't look quite right. I did see, as I'm walking past, at one point when the window smashed, I did see something on the floor in the living room. Just this one big flame sort of coming up like this. There's no electricity to this house. It was like a beach house, a beach shack. There was no electricity into the house. There was no gas lines into the house. So what's caused it, right? So yeah, she's been charged with lighting her own. But all I'm saying, guys, is the signs. We've got these different phases of fire. You've got to look for the signs of this, certainly a backdraft, just like the flashover. I showed you that video where the flame that he was teasing back the flames in the smoke, as the gases in the smoke reach their ignition temperature, they're starting to flame over, what we call rollover, same thing, flash over, and we've got to cool the gases. Just be aware of all the signs of pending phenomena like that, like backdraft, etc. I want to show you something, a quick video. No, not that one. Do that, none of you, thank you. You've seen the flashover video. Did I show you the one with the Christmas tree fire?
No.
No.
This one. This is how quickly a fire can develop in an enclosed space, an enclosed room. So watch the bottom of the Christmas tree. It's a real Christmas tree, real tree, pine. That's 5 seconds. And watch the build up of the smoke and gases here. Already we're around 400 degrees Celsius up here, okay? 16 seconds, It's the smoke that's hot, the hot smoke, that makes this and this spontaneously combust, not the flame. There you go. Look at the pyrolysis down here, and the spread of the flame because it's starting, the gases are starting to catch light. There's 35 seconds. Look at the smoke layer coming down. Bunny's getting cooked. And full flash over. It's gone. 45 seconds. And this is why we don't put water on a cooking oil fire, thanks to McDonald's. Young McDonald's staff. Okay, watch, he's just looking at it. Oh, I've got a fire. Just stares at it for a while. He's got an extinguisher right there and a fire blanket. Now his mate just comes, now they both stare at it.
Deep fry.
Deep fryer. So he says to his friend, I'm going to go and get a bucket of water and put this out. Not good. Alright. I wish we could, the smoke machine's not working, I'm guessing. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I would have liked to do a structural exercise with you guys. Is it going to be working tomorrow? What's that?
Let me just call him again.
It's okay, it's alright. I think what we'll do is we'll call it a day, because it's 5:15. And tomorrow we've got our big drill and in our certificate ceremony. You okay? Otherwise we can go and do another drill. But we're kind of done with the aircraft stuff, yeah? The aircraft drills. I'm pretty sure you guys will be okay tomorrow. Otherwise we can do a drill if you like. What do you want to do? I think we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
And then tomorrow, come well rested. Who's in the drill tomorrow? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. You know your positions? Alright, so let's arrive tomorrow morning, just come to the station and let's get this all set up. We'll get everything set up, tents and all that sort of